And while we're waiting for others, I'll give my little preamble here about uh, self-directed positive neuroplasticity. That's the fancy term for what we're doing here, right? We're choosing to direct our brain and our nervous system's attention towards states of the temporary states that are helpful for us. And the more we do that, the easier it gets. And so today being Thursday, we're going to practice gratitude. And today's session, I was thinking of doing gratitude for what I call the basics. And I'll, I'll go ahead and maybe spend more time doing the actual practice versus explaining it. But there's so many things in our day-to-day life, especially where we live, no matter how dire or difficult or challenging our moments might feel, there's also something profoundly or it's just something profound about noticing or taking some time out to notice what I would call the basics. And they have to do with the basics of what allow us to live our lives. So everything from garbage collection to safety to um, the convenience of being able to use our phones to order food or whatever it might be. So the purpose of today is to just take a few minutes and drop into that space. So let's go ahead and start by closing our eyes, remembering that the whole point of this is to turn temporary states into permanent traits, which means temporary states of gratitude and awareness. And then when we stimulate those parts of our nervous system, the more normal or the more accessible those states become. And as we continue to do that, eventually they become sort of permanent traits in our mind and our brain and in our nervous system. So let's start with safety. Like, to whatever extent, greater or lesser, we may be experiencing safety in this moment. It doesn't take a lot to look at the news and imagine ourselves being in a place where really the foundational aspects of safety are not being met. There are lots of humans on planet Earth right now who don't feel safe for good reason. Someone's trying to hurt them. Someone's trying to destroy their home. So just taking a step back and appreciating that right here, right now, in order for us to be on this call together, there's a baseline of safety that's being met that allows us to do what we're doing right now. I'm not saying it's perfect. But it's something. And let's take a moment just to appreciate what we've got. We've got an internet connection. We've got each other. Got the intention and the space and the time to be able to take a few minutes to appreciate what we've got. And just taking note of what it's like to be sitting in a chair. Maybe you're sitting in your car. Maybe you're sitting in a chair at home. Doesn't really matter. There's something to be said for just noticing how what it's like to be sitting in a chair, breathing, the simplicity of it, feeling a sense of safety. And then layered on top of that is this notion of a functioning society. Most of us can walk out our front door, we can lock the front door, we can walk along the sidewalk, we can cross the street, certain areas that are marked for crossing the street. There's a general sense that cars will stop for us. I call this sort of the aspects of a functioning society, and that's not a given. There are lots of parts of the world where that is not happening. And yet for most of us, it is. We're just taking a moment to step back and appreciate that. There are crosswalks, lights. I'm reasonably confident that if I called 911 right now, that competent, well-meaning humans would arrive at my doorstep knowing where I live, wanting to help. And just knowing that allows me to go through my day in a way that many other humans on planet Earth just don't have that privilege. Settling into that awareness. Next piece of gratitude for the basics is what I would call basic infrastructure. Roads. I can, for the most part, I can count on the fact that when I throw the light switch in the living room, the lights will go on. That's the result of many competent people coming together and designing codes and regulations to keep things safe and installing them and having inspectors look at it and say, yes, that's okay, or no, it's not okay. Same thing with hot water or just water in general. So much basic infrastructure surrounding us. I know that in my case, I oftentimes take it for granted. Taking a moment to appreciate all of that. Whole army of competent and skilled humans that spend a lot of their time making certain things work. So this is our time to take a step back and just appreciate them. And there are communal spaces. These are parks, sidewalks, areas where we can park our cars. They have lines on the road so we know where to put our car so it doesn't interfere with other people's cars. There's all this stuff that is set up by lots and lots of different people that just makes certain aspects of our lives easier and functional. An appreciation for communal spaces. Another layer of this is food. Most of us just walk into a grocery store and we see shelves and shelves of organic vegetables and meat products and packaged goods. And it's just like one aisle after the other. And it's easy to forget that all of this is put in place by people that grow the food, people that package the food, that ship it out, that uphold certain standards of growing the food, and it ends up on these shelves and we get to walk in and just grab it off the shelf and scan it, scan the barcode and walk out of there with a bag or two of groceries, just assuming that's just normal. There's a lot that goes into making that feasible and possible. I mean, just taking a step back and acknowledging the people and the processes and the infrastructure and everything that's in place to make that feasible for us. And then as we do our thing, invariably we create garbage and waste, and we want to recycle and we want to reuse and we want to sort things into this bin versus that bin. And again, there's a whole cadre of humans that are devoted to making all of that work. The recycling goes to one place, the garbage goes to another place. No matter what, somehow it magically disappears from our backyard or our front yard to some place, some truck that takes it away. Those are human beings that are involved in this process, that are thinking about it and doing it, taking care of it all. Taking a moment to appreciate what they do. And last but certainly not least, the convenience factor. We can order food using our phones. We can order a ride, and there are humans that are sitting in cars that are at the ready at our disposal, and they head in our direction using these devices, and they pick us up and they drive us from here to there. And there's a convenience factor that it's very easy to forget all of the bits and pieces, the people that create the software, the people that are driving the cars, the people that are cooking the food. There's a lot that goes into making this convenience work. So just taking a few seconds today to say thank you, to acknowledge it. Go ahead, take a deep breath in. And on this exhale, go ahead, open your eyes. See all your fellow travelers on the session. And yeah, hope just taking a minute to appreciate the basics in our life was helpful today. I'll be back here tomorrow at noon. Hope to see you all, do another session together. And yeah, wishing you a great day. Take care, everyone.